everyone, welcome to another round of Chitter-Chatter. How's your weekend going and what all have you read? Did you have a specific weekend read, or is there a book that you were reading all through the week and you're about to complete it in the weekend? Well, my Chitter-Chatter today is with Vani on her book Seconds Later. I'm sure you've read the review by now and also ordered your copies online and are reading it. So while she is here, let me send her a request and get started with this Chitter-Chatter because I can't wait to ask her a lot of questions that you all have poured in. And I am sending her started with it super soon. Hey Satyam, hey Renuka, Mr. Poco, hi. Vani is right here. I've sent her a request. Ambika Bangles, hello. Hi Vani, how are you?
Hi, hello.
Welcome on Chitter-Chatter. So just like your protagonist is a good VJ, I'm going to try to be a little like her and I'm going to be like, and today on the show, we have Vani here on her current book, Seconds Later, which is on a VJ, and further, she's going to tell you about it. So Vani, please tell our viewers all about Seconds Later.
So, Seconds Later is my latest romantic thriller. You can also call it crime fiction. Here it is. Here is the book. And yes. And Shweta, first of all, before I start all of that, thank you so much for inviting me here on this show of yours. And I've watched a lot of your videos, and you're so lively and so bubbly. So I couldn't sleep last night. I was just so excited, because you've read the book, and we had such a good conversation about the book as well. This is a book about a young girl, and she dreams about fame, and she all she's wanted to do was to be famous. And then once she is there, she realizes that there is this other nasty side of fame, and that's where the book starts at a place where she's stabbed and she's lying next to her killer, and all she wishes for is life for her to give like a second chance, and she doesn't know whether that will be possible or not, and it's in her final moments, or we don't know whether those are her final moments or not, but she realizes that fame is not, there's a price to fame, and you can't just have it all and not have to sacrifice anything for it. So yeah, and in all of that, there is romance and there is crime and there is thrill and all those elements to it. So yeah, that's what the book is all about.
So, guys, I'm going to refrain from talking much because I might just land up giving a lot of spoilers, which I don't want to, because I was super into after reading the book. I love the character. I love the other three characters that are there called Cyrus and Ali and Sameer. And, each one of them is so unique that at the same time, there's somebody you want to kill. There's somebody you want to love. There's somebody that you're like, oh my God, this guy is so cute. What is wrong with her? So there's so much to this book.
You remember the call that you gave me right after finishing the book? It was so exciting because, you talked so passionately as though they were real people, and I think you asked me, Vani, is this based on real story? Are these real people? And I said, no, they're not.
So that's about this book. Vani has created it in such a way that, there's no difference between reality. You're actually going to get confused that are you really watching some true story or rather reading a true story. So Vani, how long did it take you to write this book once you decided on the concept?
Couple of years. I started writing this in 2017, but then things kept happening. So it finally went to the book bakers. I'm represented by Suhail Mathur of the book bakers. It finally went to them in 2018. But then I happened to release another book in the United States. So this one took a back seat, and it got there were some rejections along the way as well. So before the rejections happened, the book had a lot less to it. And I think a couple of characters were also missing. And after the rejection, the ending changed, and there was a significant character that was added. So it's every creative work that you do makes its own journey. On this planet, the way we have our own journey. So this book has had a very interesting journey, going through, a couple of publishers, then landing up with Suhail Mathur, who rescued it, and finally it came to my publisher, Vishwakarma Publications, and now it is there. And the stuff I'm hearing about it is so positive that it makes the whole journey worthwhile. That's the whole point of it, you know.
So, like you mentioned in your book earlier, in the very beginning, that you were almost about to give up, and then the universe played its role, and you received a tweet. So, can you elaborate on that a little for our viewers out here?
Yeah, so what happens, Shweta, is that you are an artist as well. You would understand when you are that creative. There are so many times that you doubt yourself, and you are like, "Am I doing the right stuff? Am I following the right path?" And basically, you have nobody to for guidance. You can rely on your family, but after a point in time, it's your own conviction that must guide you. So I had that breakdown moment in 2017, I guess, and there were some things I was facing in my life, and I was struggling a lot as a writer, not getting anywhere. And I thought, this is just, I'm done with this. Ho gaya. And that point of time, just when I was telling my best friend that, what, this is enough, I really don't think I can do this. That very moment, I got a tweet from from a woman in Oklahoma. She didn't know me, but somehow she had landed in the hospital, and it was there that she was somehow introduced to my first book, which I'm not going to talk about here, but she connected with it, and she tweeted me right at that moment that, Vani, don't give up. You have a nice gift, and very few people are so gifted. And writers are born with this gift where they must share their gifts with others. On and it was so heartfelt. I just felt like some bigger force wanted me to continue writing, and I said, okay, you know what, let me not give up, let me just give it one more try. And yeah, this is where I am today. And you know what, Shweta, it's not just ended there. The interesting thing is I struggle with these feelings almost every day, like, oh, I can't do this, it kills me every single day. But then, something in the greater universe wants me to just go on. It's like that.
And I'm so glad you're going on because your stories are amazing and the way you write it is also amazing and literally, comes from your heart. You can, like, I've read it, so I can really vouch for it. And all the people out here, if you haven't still got your copies of Second Later, then that's what you have to do after this chitter chatter. Don't go right now because right now we have a lot of questions. And since both of us have a copy, let's have a selfie moment.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, wonderful.
And here we've had a selfie. One minute. We did click. I clicked while you had the book, right? Because I'm not too sure. Okay, one more. I'll tell you, then you take the book off. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So, Vani, a lot of people out here, from Pranay to Akhil to Ankush, they all have this thing that, a lot of people do feel dejected. They feel rejected. Their manuscripts are rejected. So, how is the whole process to go about to get the right publisher?
So, the first thing that you need to understand is there are a lot of those moments of self-doubt, and everybody, when you're working in a company, you're working from 9 to 5. I don't think you really have those moments where you question, like, are you good enough for it? Maybe jab aapka hike aata hai, or when it is time for you to get a promotion and all, that's when you really question those things. But otherwise, it's more for the creatively bent, because you're all right brained, and you're more creatively oriented, and paisa aa nahi raha, and you're struggling, and you can't really make people understand what you're going through. For writers and even for artists, I'm sure, you're an artist, we live in our heads most of the times, so you can't really show anything to a person. It's not like a Microsoft Excel sheet. So first thing is having enough, living to your essence, living to your authentic truth, writing what comes naturally to you, not trying to imitate anybody out there, letting your original voice be represented out there without any fear. And the next step, once you have that work finished, whether it's a novel, whether it's a poem or it's a story or whatever it is, I'm represented by these excellent people at book bakers and my so I have struggled through those rejections and all. And once I spoke to Suhail, it was just so easy because he took care of everything for me. So the first time I spoke to him, I just felt very relaxed. So find good people is what I would say. Yeah, by all means go to book bakers, but yeah, find good people who can support you in your journey, and at least have two people around you who can pull you up when you feel down, your parents or your best friends or whoever. And after once the whole thing is done, finding a good publisher for it is also important. Just don't go for anybody out there. Wait, I think patience is something you need to cultivate in yourself, because as a writer, going through that entire process and even marketing your book is not easy. It needs a lot of patience. So I listen to videos on patience, like how to just cultivate patience, it's so unreal. But yeah, without that, what can you do, Shweta? You're an
I
artist.
totally agree with you, because patience and consistency are two things that, no matter what field you are in, whether you're a writer, painter, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to be an Instagrammer, everything needs these two things, because everything has its own time. And at the same time, you need to be consistent and you need to keep going, irrespective of, whether you don't feel like or you feel like. Like, that's something you need to continue with.
Absolutely. And perseverance, not just giving up. Like, I struggle with those feelings every day, and yet, somehow I just keep going. I'm like, there is no u-turns. Life is too short to live like, somebody else's life. You have to just be true to yourself, because I just feel like I don't want to die with any regrets. So might as
I
well
totally
just
resonate with you on that, because I
आपका
personally
दूध
feel
वाला
that it's,
आया.
हाँ मतलब उसकी टाइमिंग देखो. उसने देखा अरे चिटर चैटर चल रहा है, मैं अब भी बेल मारता हूँ.
No, that's perfect.
I totally resonate with you on this, because I personally believe too that you just have one day, and that one day is something that, why live with regrets? Make the most of it what you can and just go ahead with it. और दूध वाला फिलहाल बहुत persistent है, वो बेल पे बेल मारे जा रहा है, पर मैं भी D2 में चिटर चैटर छोड़ के नहीं जाने वाली हूँ, वो बेल मारे जा रही हूँ.
That's
Pranay
wonderful.
Khalirao is saying here he loves rejections. He just loves rejections. It gives him the chance to improve his story. Group Queen Army is raising her hands up too on that, that we should live one day at a time. And she says, very well said. And we have a lot of hearts that were flowing away now. Oh, this is something that I really need to check. What just happened?
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I can see a lot of my friends are also here. So thank you so much for sharing this space. And let me tell you that, grab a copy of my latest novel, Seconds Later. If you haven't already read it, let me know. Tag me in your reviews. Let me know if you liked this book, and how these characters resonated with you. And, I would just so much love to hear.
Okay, this was not a Dudwala. This was the kids in the building who had this random thing. They were at some wrong house and they were like going on ringing the bell.
That's okay. These things, see, we were talking about interruptions and interferences and all that, that's good. Doesn't matter. Kids are always good. Dogs are always good. You have so many, and you have a dog, because I've heard
I have three of them, Dollar, Baller, Bagheera. And each one of them is unique in its own way. And so Bagheera does not like being clicked. He'll just be one still. Baller loves reels, and Dollar just does not react. He's like, please don't even get me. He's like too camera shy. So back to your book, and like we spoke, there are rejections, interruptions, glitches, and all of that. And Divine also gave us a thing right here where we had an example that we were going through our life. And we had
Let me tell you, I think also, you know, as this is any craft, whatever comes to you, I think it is also asking, it is also a journey as a human being that you make, facing all these rejections, because no school is going to ever train you for this journey. So I think it's also training to be a better human being, cultivate your talents despite rejections, despite all that struggle that you face, and yeah, still going on, you know, being persistent. So that's what is important. जैसे हम चिटर चैटर में लगे हैं, no matter the bell, no, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
मैं तो कहता मैं नहीं खोलूंगी, वो भी deep went on and I was like, before the music continues,
You
let me just see what happened, like what has happened.
Shweta, the thing is, you can only control yourself. You can't control anybody else.
True that. Rashima Swarup Verma is right here on our Chitter Chatter, and she's saying true that Vani, patience is a virtue that few of us are blessed with, and it's so essential for a writer. And people, I'm sure you'll have seen her on my Chitter Chatter too yesterday, and also are reading her book. So do get your copies for Seconds Later. Do get your copies for her book. And back to my next question. So Vani, you know, your protagonist in Seconds Later has achieved success at a very young age. You know, so for her, it's like a dream come true. And especially when you get something very easily, also you don't understand what other things are coming by way. So did you ever have an incident in life from where you picked this up, where you were like, you know, things came easily to you and you were like, oh, this is my character?
I think that's very, I think, Shweta, that's very human, because whenever something, anything, whether it be love, whether it be anything, any awards or anything that you get pretty easy in your life, or early in your life, I think we never value it, whatever comes easy to us. And we are sort of in our, it's sort of, you know, it's so important to be grounded at all times. And that's something that my protagonist is not, if you realize. She, her boyfriend is trying to protect her. Cyrus has seen that part of life, and he knows what it is like, you know, to be there and to have everything, and how people may chase you and make life difficult for you. But this girl is just like too much in the air, and that's what she doesn't realize, that, you know, fame comes at a price. And yes, I have tasted a bit of it. So when my first book came out, I won't say I was very famous, or, you know, I became very famous or anything, but I was doing a lot of marketing and promotion myself, and I saw people tagging me in all sorts of things, like on Instagram. And, you know, I used to get marriage proposals on Instagram. I'm sure you get them too. And people started tagging me on obscene videos on, you know, Facebook. So it was all very awkward for me, and there was no guidebook where I could, you know, see like what's this going on and how am I supposed to deal with it. So yeah, there were some early experiences, but more importantly, what happened was, I realized that when you are at that level, at any level whatsoever, a lot of people are looking at you, or observing you, or observing your behavior, your movements, you know, and you have no idea what intention they are coming from. And that's what this book is about, because it is, after all, you know, soft crime also, and in that category. And that's where, you know, sometimes things can get really nasty. And that's what was important for me to highlight, that not everything about fame is good, you know, as we perceive.
So we have people here asking who want to also grab the copies, that is the book available on Amazon International?
It's available everywhere. It's available on Amazon, Flipkart, and it's available everywhere. So they can grab a copy from whatever website they buy their books from. And I think it's available at the bookstores. Also, I don't go out at all because of this Omicron, and also I haven't checked out the bookstores. But I guess it's available everywhere.
So it's available everywhere. So all the people who asked, it's available national, international, everywhere, on every site. So do get your copies and do read, and do let Vani know what you loved about the book. Sorry?
In fact, if they're asking about international, a lot of people from other countries have reviewed it on Amazon. So I've seen reviews pouring in from Canada, from United States, and from Germany also, I guess. I'm not too sure, but there is one on Goodreads that's from, I think, Costa Rica. So people are buying it in other countries as well. So it's available everywhere.
So here the answer is right here, that it's available everywhere. All you have to do is go get your copies and tell us what you liked about Seconds Later. And do that just a little seconds later after our chitter chatter is over. Not right now. Just wait for a few more seconds, or rather a few more minutes to be precise. So Vani, there's this thing that when you were writing Seconds Later, obviously every character is important because you've given birth to each one of them. But if I have to rank those four characters, how would it be for you?
Which four characters? Okay, so the top
From
ones.
the main ones. So which are the first four main ones for you and the rating for them? Like for me, I would say, besides obviously the protagonist is the main for me, even I loved her, but I would go like from Cyrus to her, then Samir and then Ali. So what would it be for you?
For me, Shweta, the first voice that came to me was Samir. I could hear this person speaking in my head, and the first few pages, because the first few pages are all his. So that came to me like it was an instant download. And the next voice that I heard very clearly was Ali. I could just so connect with his voice, this, married banker character who is going after this young female and he just wants to be with her. That was the second voice. Cyrus, I loved writing his character, one, because he was based on real life Cyrus Brocha. So that was the fun thing. But creating that authentic Parsi character was such a struggle for me. Oh my God, because I live in Chandigarh and we don't generally hear Parsi tongue over here, like around. यहाँ नहीं होते ज़्यादा, Bombay में होते हैं. I spoke like that to Cyrus and he was like, yeah, Vani, whatever you mean, it's not coming across very nicely. So, but that's the truth, you generally don't have Parsi people here in Chandigarh, so that's a signal for them, they should be here. That was the toughest to write, but I enjoyed creating the Parsi characters. Cyrus and Cyrus' parents, and everybody has got parents. So Nikita and Nikita's parents, and Samir's parents, and Ali and his wife. Everybody. So for me, all of them are close to my heart, but I especially loved Samir. And it was very important for me to create a little bit of empathy for him. I don't know whether I was successful or not, but he is the anti-hero. So I wanted people to still fall in love with him despite his flaws. And I don't know whether I was successful or not.
Well, you'll know soon, because all the viewers here, they're going to get their copies and they're going to DM you and they're going to put their review. So you'll know very soon whether you succeeded or you didn't. According to me, you definitely did. But now
which character did you connect with? Which character was the best according to you?
So I really love Cyrus. I loved Nikita, and Samir is again something that why I loved. I have told you on the call. If I say beyond that, I might just be telling things about the book, which I don't think I should be telling, because I want the readers to know. So that one part that actually made me fall for Samir. You know it very well, because when I called you, I was like, oh, this is the best part about the book. Yeah. So on that note, I have to tell you, when this book gets adapted, what is your wish list for Samir? Who should play Samir?
I have a wish list, but you will have to approve it for me. I think for Samir, Ayushmann Khurrana or somebody, because they are so versatile, they can carry all their emotions so well. So Samir, I think he has a lot of flaws. He is not the main hero. He's the anti-hero, but he has a lot of goodness to him as well. And so you need to create that empathy, and I think people like Ayushmann Khurrana or this guy Gehraya one, Siddhant Chaturvedi and all, they could really play that very well. And as for the main character Cyrus, I have no idea who can play a nice Parsi guy. Cyrus Brocha was suggesting, why not John Abraham? and because he has some Parsi connection, I don't know. But for the main lead, I think Nikita, I would say Alia Bhatt would be so good. But this is just me cooking up these thoughts in my head, you know.
It's
I
a
don't
wish
know.
list. Why not have the ones that you feel like?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So while I was giving up the stories, we had Vivek Kapoor and many more people here. Please don't give away the plot. Please don't give away the plot. Oh, please. I am not giving away the plot. I know how much I have to bite my tongue from not saying something so that I don't give the plot.
I know. You can't give away the ending. You know, it's like I'm also just like, okay, no, zip. Don't give away the ending. Don't give away the ending.
So,
but it's hard.
It is very hard. It is like really hard to not like give away, like, you know, because it's something you don't expect. Like, not at all. So when that happens, you're like, what the hell? What just happened?
How much time did it take you to finish it from start to finish?
One day. One day I was done with your book. It was like that quick. Like, I enjoyed it. I started in the afternoon sitting in a cafe and I had 3 cups of coffee, and I think afternoon turned into evening, evening turned into night. And next day morning I called you and I was like, okay, Vani, let's have a chat before I let you
and I was so excited to hear from you because, you know, you were sounding like, you were like literally jumping. You were like, Vani, maine pad li. I was like, wow, that's good. But yeah. I was very happy to hear from you.
Even Manas Lal gave this amazing. I'm so glad. And Manas Lal is also given a good suggestion for the wish list. He's like, the Parsi boy can be Jim Sarab, which is true. Yeah, I didn't think of him. He could also be the perfect Parsi boy.
Yes,
so
he can
yeah,
be
you can add him to your list.
You think he could be?
And now let's come to the last.
हम ऑडिशन कर लेते हैं श्वेता, हम ऑडिशन कर लेते हैं.
हम ऑडिशन लेके फिर एक चिटर चैटर करेंगे जहां हम पोल भी ले लेंगे कि देखो हमारे ऑडिशन के हिसाब से तो ये लोग हैं, अब आप पोल दे दो कि इसमें से आपको कौन चाहिए आपके लिए.
Absolutely, absolutely. हम पूरी अपनी प्रोडक्शन मीटिंग कर बैठे.
हाँ, सब वो करके आपसे हम वापस मिलेंगे and then you'll be ready with the poll.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fascinating.
So now I'm coming to the last segment of Chitter-Chatter. I'm going to ask you some questions and the first word that comes to your mind, and really quick, okay? So what's your favorite series when it comes to reading?
Books?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones? 50 Shades of Grey?
Oh, 50 Shades of Grey even I like.
Twilight? Lord of the Rings? I love books. So I generally read them like one after the other. Like I have to have all the parts. 1, 2, 3. It's very frustrating जब एक part आया है और दूसरा 2 साल बाद आना है. And Harry Potter, we've all loved Harry Potter. What about that?
Harry Potter, surprisingly, I know the readers out here would want to kill me, but besides the first one, I have not been able to read. But there's this other book which an Indian author, Himanshu Rai, has written. It's called Rhythm Roger. If you like Harry Potter, trust me, Rhythm Roger is going to take your heart away. Like, you'll fall in love with rhythm. So you should read that when it comes
Yes, I have read it because आपका review अभी तो आया था, कल आया था.
उसका second part का है. The first part was released 8 months back. And like you said, you know, when you don't know it's a sequel when the book releases and you're like, oh no, you don't have to wait for months. So I kept harrowing him. I'm like, when is a sequel coming? When is a sequel coming?
So sweet. When somebody can say such kind things about your work, Shweta, it really means a lot. And especially, you know, people are struggling out there. So somebody comes to you and tells you, you know, कि आपका book बहुत resonate किया. अरे यार, you take my heart away. और क्या चाहिए?
People, you all know how to take her heart away. All you have to do is read seconds later and DM her and put in the review, and you will be like making her smile just the way she's smiling and make her day. So, okay, my next rapid fire round ka question: how do you choose your next read?
Books come to me, Shweta. It shows itself in my energy field. And I just have to pick it up and I have to read it. I don't choose my books. I just allow it to come into my space. Honestly, that's how I read my books.
Your favorite author?
So many. So I do a lot of, I read, I junk read also. Like I read masala books also. So at this moment in time. I'm reading some Chinese authors. Like, I started watching this Netflix series called The Untamed. From there, I was hooked to Chinese novels. Aside all the junk reads I do, I love all the books by Sadhguru, Karma, Death. They are my favorites. And I love Gary Zukav because he's written some beautiful books. So I read a lot of mind, body, spirit books. And among others, I love whatever book I'm reading at the moment. Like, I've loved Lord of the Ring, this George Tolkien. I've loved Jane Austen, and I love people यार इतने अच्छा तो लिखते हैं, सभी बहुत अच्छे हैं. You've read
Okay.
Statuist of Auschwitz, and that's also very nice. And the author has done such an amazing job. So yeah, it's good.
The first thing that comes to your mind when I say seconds later.
Seconds later. This title also came to me like, you know, just I never changed the title. This was the only title that came to my head. Seconds
Vani
later.
as an author.
Vani as an author loves challenges.
The Book Bakers.
They are amazing. Go to them.
Vishwakarma Publications.
They are just super amazing. Oh my god, they are so lovely. I want to marry them.
Cyrus Brocha.
Cyrus Brocha is my dream boy. Is my dream boy. My childhood crush.
And lastly, Chitter-Chatter with Shweta Rohira.
Shweta, you are so positive. There is such a nice vibe about you, and I love you. And I love what you have to say about my work. I can't say marry me, but it's good, having people who really love your work. It's just so amazing. And I've loved this chitter-chatter with you.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of Chitter-Chatter, and thank you for writing this lovely novel, which was a cute little novel which I enjoyed in one day.
You took a
Guys,
picture,
just
right?
day read. And even if you're reading in bits and passes, 2 din mein aapki ho jayegi. So enjoy seconds later. And now, as I finish this Chitter-Chatter, go and order your book. Do not wait for even a few more seconds. So Vani, thank you once again, and hope to see you soon on many more Chitter-Chatters with many more books of yours.
Thank you so much, Shweta. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.